evening, we present before you William Shakespeare's Richard III. A play about the greed and lust for power. It is based on true historical events. In 15th century England, the two most powerful kingdoms, namely the Yorks and the Lancasters, fought ferociously in the War of the Roses. The war lasted for several years, and ultimately the Lancasters were defeated. The Yorkist king, Edward IV, became the Emperor of England. The Emperor King Edward is now old and feeble. He nears his death every day. He will be succeeded to the throne by his two sons. But since the princes are very young, somebody has to step onto the throne as the Lord Protector of the realm till the princes are ready for their ascension. King Edward has two brothers, Richard III and Clarence. Since Richard is a handicapped with a hunchback, Clarence is the most obvious choice as the successor of King Edward. But Richard has some plans.
Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by the sun of yore. And all the clouds that lowered upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now on our brows, while the victorious reeds of bruised arms hung up for monuments, a stern alarms changed to merry meetings. Grim-visaged war has smoothed his wrinkled frown. And now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasings of a lute. Patel, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking glass. I, that am curtailed of different proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world, scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I fall by. And therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain and to hate the idle pleasures of these days. Plots have I laid, inductions dangerous, to set my brother Clarence and the king in a deadly hate, one against the other, and if King Edward be as true and just as I'm subtle, false, and treacherous, this day should Clarence be mewed up about a prophecy which says that seed of Edward says, the murder shall be. Dive thoughts down to my soul. Here Clarence comes. Brother, good day. What means this armbar that waits upon your grace?
His Majesty, tendering my person's safety, has appointed this conduct to imprison me in the tower.
Upon what cause?
Because my name is Clarence.
Alack, my lord, that fault is none of yours. They, for that matter, should commit your godfathers. But what's the matter, Clarence? May I know?
Dear Richard, Giant Vermin, he opens after prophecies and dreams. And from the crossroad, plucks the letter C and says that a wizard told him that by C, his issue disinherited should be. And for my name of Clarence begins with C, it follows in his third, I am he. These as I learn, and such like toys as these have moved his highness to come into me now.
This it is when men are ruled by women. It is not the king that sends you to the tower. My Lady Grey, his wife Clarence, it is she that tempers him to this extremity. Was it not she and her brother there that sent Lord Hastings to the tower? We're not safe, Clarence. We're not safe.
I do beseech your grace to pardon me, and with help obey your conference with the noble duke.
We know thy charge, Lady Mary, and will obey.
We are the queen's subjects and must obey. Brother, farewell. I will unto the king, and whatsoever you employ me in, I will perform it to enfranchise you. Meantime, this deep disgrace in brotherhood touches me deeper than you can imagine.
I know it pleases neither of us.
Well, your imprisonment shall not be long. I will deliver thee, or else lie for thee. Meantime, have patience.
I must perforce, brother. Farewell.
Go! Tread the path that thou shalt never return, simple plain Clarence. I do love thee, so that I'll shortly send thy soul to heaven.
Is opposed to anxiety for his wife, Queen Elizabeth. She senses that her brother-in-law Richard can deprive her young sons of their birthright. She confines her suspicion to Lord Rivers and Lord Grey, the most noble in the court of King Edward.
Have patience, madam. There is no doubt His Majesty will soon return his accustomed health.
In that you broke it in, it only makes you worse. Therefore, for God's sake, entertain good comfort, and cheer his grace with quick and merry eyes.
If he were dead, what would be done on me?
No other harm but the loss of such a lord.
The loss of such a lord includes all harm.
The heavens have blessed you with a goodly son. Be your comforter, and his grace is more.
Ah, he is young. His minority is put unto the trust of Richard Gloucester. He is a man who loves not thee, nor the Lord.
Here comes the Duke of Buckingham.
Good time of day unto your royal grace.
What likelihood of his amendments, Lord?
Madam Good Hope, his grace speaks cheerfully.
God Francis II, did you confer with him?
Aye, madam, he desires to make atonement between Lord Richard and your brothers, and sent to warn them to his royal presence.
Would all were well, but that shall never be. I fear our happiness is at its height. They do me wrong, and I will not endure it. Who is it that complains unto the king that I, forsooth, am stern and love them not? Because I cannot flatter, look fair, smile in men's faces, smooth, deceive in calm, double French not slavish courtesy, I must be held a rancorous enemy. Cannot a plain man live and think no harm?
To whom in all this presence speaks your grace?
To thee that has no honesty nor grace. When have I injured thee? When done thee wrong? or any of your faction, a plague upon you all. His Royal Grace cannot quite scarce a breathing wine, but you have to trouble him with your complaints.
My brother Richard, we know your meaning. You envy my advancement and my fences. God grant we may never have any need of you.
Meantime, God grants that we have need of you. Our brother is imprisoned by your means, myself disgraced and the nobility held in contempt, while great promotions are daily given to ennoble those, which quite 2 days since were worth the noble.
My Lord Richard! I do not mourn your blunt upbraidings and your bitter scoffs. By heaven, I shall acquaint His Majesty with those cross stones that oft have endured. I'd rather be a countrymaid servant than to be a great queen with this condition, to be baited and scorned and scorned at.
Madam, His Majesty doth call for you, and for your grace, and yours, my gracious lord.
Stand here, I come. Lords, will you come with me?
We wait upon your grace.
I do the wrong, and first begin to wrong. The secret mischief that I set abroach, I lay unto the grievous charge of others, and thus hide my naked villainy with odd old ends stolen out of a holy writ, and seem a saint when I most play the devil. But soft, here come my executioners. How now? My hardy stout resolve mates, are you now going to dispatch this thing?
We are here, my lord. I come to have the warrant that we may be admitted where he is.
Well thought upon. Go by this token. When you are done, return to Crosby Place. But sirs, be sudden in the execution. Do not hear him plead. For Clarence is well spoken, and will move your hearts to pity if you mark him.
We'll not stand to break, my lord. Talkers are no good doers. Be assured, we go to use our hands and not tongues.
Go, dispatch now.
We'll dispatch it, my noble lord.
Somebody who is a symbol of strength and dominance, alongside whom Richard can project his power and thus gain approval within the high ranks. The Lancaster Prince John, son of King Henry, left behind a grieving wife, Lady Anne. Richard had killed both the father and the son in the war with his own hands. If Richard gets to marry her, his position in the nobility will instantly rise. Lady Anne now travels with the bodies of her deceived husband and father-in-law in order to bury them, unaware that Richard plans to make her his wife.
Stay! You there, that bear the corpse. Set it down. What black magician conjures up the fiend to stop devoted charitable deeds? Villains, set down the corpse, or by St. Paul, I'll make a corpse of him that is disobeyed.
Stand back, my lord! Let the coffin pass.
Unlet's go! Stand up and take command! Once thy helmet higher than